Have you ever felt your gut push you in an unexpected direction and wondered if that intuition comes from a deeper place that could guide everyday choices and lead to more authentic living? As a scholar who has studied Jung extensively for many years, I can attest that intuition is not a mystical fog, but a clear bridge to the unconscious. In this brief talk, I will show how Jung research reveals exactly how we can learn to listen to our inner compass and use it to make wiser decisions in daily life. Jung discovered the principle of synchronicity, a meaningful coincidence that signals the presence of a deeper pattern, and this discovery will keep you engaged. Now, many of us live in a pace of information overload, where the rational mind is constantly busy making choices based on logic, statistics, and external expectations. There is a risk that we ignore the subtle voice of the unconscious that often nudges us toward authenticity and creativity. In my hundreds of case notes, I encountered patients who felt stuck after a career change, relationships that never seemed to click, or a sense of unfulfillment despite surface success. They all shared a complaint that the inner voice felt unreliable or too vague to trust. Jung observed that this skepticism stems from a lack of dialogue between the conscious narrative and the shadow, meaning the part of us that carries our repressed feelings, fears, the unknown. It is this real human struggle that makes intuition a vital yet underused resource. In a world where decision fatigue erodes attention, any tool that can restore a quiet center is urgently needed. Thus, when we ask whether intuition can be trusted, we must explore how our inner narrative and unconscious speak in language that is not always rational, but is profoundly resonant with our deeper self. Jung taught that intuition is the bridge between the known and the unknowable, and recognizing its voice can turn everyday decisions into significant moments of growth. To understand intuition as a trustworthy partner in decision-making, begin with dream journaling. Write down every dream you remember immediately after waking. Even fragmentary images count. When writing, note the emotions and sensory details, because these often point to the symbolic message. After the journal entry, spend 5 minutes in quiet meditation, holding the dream image in mind and inviting a dialogue. Ask, what aspect of my life resonates with this image? As you receive answers, record them succinctly. Parallel to dream work, cultivate awareness of synchronicities by keeping a daily list of surprising coincidences that feel beyond mere chance. Rate each event on how it aligns with your personal goals. When a synchronicity or dream symbol arises in a real-life scenario, say you pass a bookstore that suddenly reminds you of an unfinished manuscript, pause, breathe, and observe the inner reaction. Finally, synthesize your journal and synchronicity log with conscious rational analysis. Use the intuitive insights to shade the boundaries of options, then confirm each choice with logical criteria. By routinely practicing this method, you transform fleeting feelings of instinct into a resilient, usable compass that maps your authentic path while still respects rational structure. Jung's exploration of intuition begins with the idea that the unconscious is a living system of archetypal images that communicate through symbols. When the conscious mind is saturated with analytical reasoning, these images surface as vague impressions, instincts, or moments of sudden clarity. In his clinical work, Jung noted a recurring phenomenon he labeled synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that align personal experiences with broader archetypal themes. One illustrative case involved a writer who dreamed of a stormy sea, shortly after she received a book deal that literally featured a tumultuous maritime setting. The dream image was not a random occurrence, but an archetypal symbol of emotional upheaval, signaling that the unconscious was nudging her toward a new creative direction. This observation challenged the view that intuition is simply emotional noise or luck. Instead, Jung saw it as a structured, symbolic dialogue between psyche and world. He emphasized that the unconscious has its own logic and that it is goal-seeking, choosing symbols that resonate with an individual's psychological process. This radically reframes intuition from a passive hunch to an active, interpretable guide. By learning to notice synchronicities, recurring dreams, and subtle inner nudges, we can begin to listen to the unconscious voice. Jung proposed the practice of active imagination, which involves engaging with internal images in a conscious, creative dialogue. This method turns the symbolic content of intuition into a tangible resource for decision-making. An unexpected revelation in Jung work is that the unconscious engages with the outer world in a way that is not random, but meaningful, creating a bridge between inner patterns and external events. Understanding this reveals that intuition is not a mystical gift, but a practical tool that, once cultivated, can help navigate everyday choices with deeper alignment and authenticity. When we apply this framework, a simple market decision, a career move, or even a personal relationship can feel like a step onto an awakened path. The unconscious is not a distant muse, but an intimate collaborator, guiding us toward an integrated self. Let intuition be the bridge that turns everyday choices into authentic steps. Embrace Jung's teachings and harness inner guidance for lasting growth. Like, comment, and subscribe now for tomorrow's dive into individuation.